The Pythagorean theorem, if you have a right-angled triangle, then hypotenuse squared is equal to the sum of the legs squared. A squared plus B squared is equal to C squared, and it's very important to remember that C is across the right angle or across the corner of the triangle. So here we have to solve for x. The theorem is c squared equals to a squared plus b squared, or a squared plus b squared equals to c squared. C is always across the right angle, so I have x squared. Doesn't matter which one you label a or b, as long as you label the c correctly. Now we have 3 to the second plus 8 to the second. X to the second equals to 9 plus 64. So x squared gives us the sum of 9 and 64 is 73. Now to solve for the x itself, the second power will cancel out with the square root. Whatever you do to one side of the equal sign, you do same thing to the other side. Square root and a second power cancel, so x is equal to square root of 73, and this is our solution. Similar problem. Right across the right angle is our hypotenuse. We have c squared equals to a squared plus b squared. This is our formula. So x squared equals to 5 squared plus 12 squared. X squared equals to 25 plus 12 times 12 is 144. X squared is equal to 169. The opposite of squaring is to take the square root. Whatever you did to one side of the equal sign, you do the same thing to the other side. Square root and a second power cancel. So we have x is equal to square root. 169 can be written as 13 times 13. So x is equal to square root of 13 to the second power. Square root and a second power cancel. And x is equal to 13 is our solution. Here we have to solve for x. Now the tricky part in this problem is that right across the right angle is 9. So we have c squared equals to a squared plus b squared. C is 9 equals to, it doesn't matter if I call x a, 3, b. So we have x to the second plus 3 to the second. We get 81 equals to x to the second plus 9 minus 9 minus 9. That's a 0. This gives us 72 equals to x to the second. Square root, square root. Square root and the second power will cancel. The largest perfect square that will go into 72 will be 36 times 2, and it's still equal to x. 36 is 6 to the second. Radical 2 equals to x. Square root and a second power will cancel. So we have 6 radical 2 equals to x. And this is our solution. Similar problem. We have c squared equals to a squared plus b squared. The hypotenuse C is always across the right angle. It doesn't matter which one of them you label A, which one you label B, but it's very important that you keep C as where it's supposed to be. So we have 15 to the second equals to x to the second plus 13 to the second. 15 squared is 225. Equals to x squared plus 13 squared is 169 minus 169 minus 169. That's a 0. 225 minus 169 gives us 56. It's equal to x squared. Second power will cancel with the square root. Whatever you do to one side of the equal sign, you do the same thing to the other side. So square root and the second power cancel out. Now you just need to simplify square root of 56. And the largest perfect square that will go into 56 will be 4 times 14, and it's equal to x. Square root of 4 is 2. Radical of 14 equals to x. And this is our solution. Here we have to solve for x, and we know that in a right triangle, c squared equals to a squared plus b squared. Now this is c across the right angle. Let's call this a, this b. So we have 9 to the second equals to x to the second plus 6 to the second. We get 81 equals to x to the second plus 36 minus 36 minus 36. Difference between 81 and 36 is 45 equals to x squared. This is a 0. To solve for x, if we need to undo the second power by taking a radical. Whatever you do to one side, you want to do the same thing to the other side of the equal sign. Square root and the second power cancel. So we have x equals to, the largest perfect square that will go into 45 will be 9 times 5. That's a square root of 3 to the second times radical 5 equals to x. Square root and the second power cancel. So we get 3 radical 5 equals to x. And this is our solution. Here we have to solve for x, and that's a right triangle. So we have c squared equals to a squared plus b squared. C is always across the right angle. So we have 9 squared equals to 5 squared plus x squared. So we have 81 equals to 25 plus x squared minus 25 minus 25. So we have 56 equals to, that's a 0, x to the second, square root, second power and square root will cancel. 56 can be rewritten as 4 times 14 equals to x. Square root of 4 is 2, radical 14 x, and this is our solution. That's all.